woke up and I'm feeling like a boss right now. I woke up and I'm feeling like a boss right now. I'm gonna hold it down, I swear. I roll up.
Hey everybody, it's the coach, and this is Madden 19 on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a terrific matchup on tap between the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. I'll have scores around the league for you at the half, but it's time for a little football. So we'll hand it over to our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
First opened back in 1975. There's a look inside the iconic Mercedes-Benz Superdome in downtown New Orleans. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And Charles, you look at this Saints team as they interplay. They were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
Now a play fake here on first down. Blitz coming, and down he goes. J.J. Watt able to drop him for a loss of a couple.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Falcons, they're hitting their stride of late. Winners of 3 of their last 4.
And the offense last week, they had things humming. If you're a defensive player, you may get overshadowed a little bit, but you're really buoyed by what your offense is doing.
And a short gain there as he'll get it up only to about the 24. J.J. Watt, the one that gets him down.
Defensively here, you're facing a top-5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20. Because to me, that's the magic number. 20-point score gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
That one goes for 24 yards. And he's top 5 in the league in terms of receiving yardage because of plays like that. What have you seen from him on film that you like so much?
Well, I'll strip away everything else and get to what we call the moment of truth. When the ball's arriving and there's a defender there, he just comes down with the ball. He competes and takes it away. Great hands, great ability to finish the catch.
He was locked in. 2 trips to the end zone, Charles, over 100 yards receiving.
How about the combination of route running, confidence going downfield, and the ability to go up and get the football? You're exactly right. It was hard for them to stop him.
Hurry up, here we go. Blue, line it.
They'll run it here. This is James White. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down. We become so accustomed to it, you sort of take it for granted.
You really do, but he is so good that every team in his division, every year, is trying to make sure they draft people charged with trying to block J.J. Watt. So far, hasn't been too successful.
23 yards on the play. Well, they're piecing together a nice drive to start this one. Seems pretty scripted and pretty successful so far.
And I think they did it without our help. Because you remember when we sat in the production meeting with them to talk about this. And, hey, you know, how you guys didn't come out of the gate? I know I offered my help with a few plays, and they didn't seem to want it.
Offer mine.
You know, you were the smart one. Whatever they're doing, though, it's working really well.
2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on first down. The gun. They'll look to throw. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
Well, he'd been targeted quite a bit on this drive, and finally I think the guys on the defensive side, they said no more. They slapped the double coverage on him, made it very tough for him to get the ball.
He'll look to throw. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
That's a good job there creating the contact to force the incompletion. And now, since it's fourth down, that should set up a field goal situation.
And a nice sigh of relief defensively to be able to hold them to 3. And his kick is right there. It's good. And the Saints are going to take a 3-0 lead. So an opening drive field goal maybe doesn't whip this crowd into a frenzy, but I think that they will take the early lead.
There's no doubt about it. They will always take the early lead, and maybe that celebration comes later if they play well and they can break things open. But right now, this is all about letting the offense just get settled in.
They'll bring it back to just about the 25, call it the 24-yard line. Ryan will bring the Falcons up now 1st and 10 at their own 24. They'll run for the first time with Devontae Freeman. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. That's a good way to start the drive, 17 yards and a first down. Charles, they won last week despite him not running the ball well. They told us need to get him going. Runs like that help.
And they talked to us about leaning on him because, as you noted, last week they didn't have to. Still won the ball game. They leaned on other people to give them the yardage that they needed, but they really want him to be that guy, and that's what they're doing early in this game.
They go play action here on first down. He'll rifle this one. Deep right side.
But that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
Come on, let's go. What? Nice.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
Pressure, and that's certainly going to be a key to this game going forward. And that time, they were able to get in there and influence the throw. And remember, quarterbacks got to get rid of it. They don't have the tuck rule that they can fall back on anymore.
An incomplete pass on 2nd down. That muddles things a little bit here. This is 3rd and 10.
Ohio.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. He'll rifle this one deep right side. That's caught at the 25. They chalk that one up as a gain of 34 on 3rd down.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
They're going to look to throw. Safarian Jenkins has it. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down. And forget about the run to set up the pass. They're just coming out throwing.
Forget trying to set anything up. They feel like they have the advantage. They feel like they have the matchups, and they're just attacking right now.
Yep, going to the air on the opening drive. This is Freeman on 1st and 10. And he'll get this one down to about the 10-yard line. 2 yards on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held them to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
Alongside Charles Davis, Brandon Gordon, it's the... Now back to throw. Flush to his right. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. 6 yards there off the scramble, but it'll still leave him with a 3rd down.
Let's go. Try it, 38. Try it, 38.
They'll look to throw. And that is incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on third down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Third down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
They'll run for it. It's Freeman. And he will take it in for a Falcon touchdown. Devontae Freeman, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Falcons are in for 6. And there you go. Nothing really too complex. Block, keep to your assignments, let them run it in. They did it.
Fundamental football. Good blocking beats good tackling on that play. End result, touchdown.
Here's Bosher to kick it away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
Here we go now.
They'll take it. Just, I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. He's up over 50 yards receiving now in this first half. It's a first down.
Well, it certainly feels like there are more stars at the tight end position than there were even 10 years ago. And I think it's become more of a glamour position because of the ways it can hurt a defense, and guys want to be involved. They can be in line, close to the line of scrimmage. They can split out like receivers. But hands, route running, speed, and some toughness to go across the middle, you put it all together, you got a heck of a tight end candidate.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post, because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage.
All right, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
And they'll go on the ground. And he got blown up. Losing yardage on the play back at the 44. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete. Seems like this defense, especially the secondary, has really been contesting about every throw in this first half.
Remind me of a good half-court defensive basketball team. Every time a pass is thrown, they're right there in good defensive position, able to affect the play.
The Saints on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd down and 12.
Now let's go. Green, 39.
They'll drop to throw. Going right side here, and that's complete. And he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. 75 yards receiving for him now. It's a first down.
I know the halftime's approaching, but I don't think he's going to want to take a break. That's his 5th catch.
Yeah, they've really been targeting the tight end. And they'll go ground game here with the tailback. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. Back-to-back nice plays, 12 yards that time and a first down.
We don't talk about it very often, but sometimes there's a dip in intensity when you start the second half, which can manifest itself in some sloppy tackling. And how about right there? He ran right through that weak tackle attempt.
Here we go now. 3-19.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he'll be stopped up after only a couple of yards as he gets it down to the 5. The line of scrimmage, once again, the 5 as they get ready for 2nd and goal. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. We're back to New Orleans after this. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. The line of scrimmage, once again, the 5 as they get ready for 2nd and goal.
Now let's go. Green, 39.
From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. And the Falcons get there. The Falcons get the sack. Down he goes.
Well, competition comes up in so many different ways. And right now, this unit, their competition is who's going to get to the quarterback the most times. Had about 5 sacks last week. We just saw their first one of this game.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
Well, it's been a tough go for them. These guys have been driving down the field, but defensively, once they got their backs to the goal line, turned up the pressure, that's going to lead to a 4th down. Well played.
And his kick here is good. And they'll get it back within a point at 7-6. No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
Morstead, the punter, out to kick it off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Here comes the Falcon offense now as they get set to take over here. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you score points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
Now they'll throw here out of the gun. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Nothing open downfield, and he had to get that one out in a hurry because he just knew he was about to take a big shot. Probably couldn't get his legs into the throw. Became an all-arm throw trying to check it down to his running back. Incomplete.
So after the second down incompletion, they'll come up now against a 3rd and 6. On play action, they'll throw. Out. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. And the Saints signal for another timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. On 4th down, here's Matt Bosher on to punt. This is taken at the 23. 12 yards on the return that time. And the Saints will take over with a 1st down and 10. Now the Saints offense, they get ready to go back to work here. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. And at least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that, that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick other than the extra point. That's it.
He'll drop to throw. Over the middle, that's caught by Adams. Touchdown, New Orleans. A big play there. His first touchdown on the year. Saints are able to strike quickly for 6.
And while that touchdown does not give them an insurmountable lead, it's still a lead, and that always feels good to a team.
They'd love to take that into the lockers, but a little time left on that clock, so some work to do.
I like that. I like how you're guarding against a letdown there.
Already looking forward.
Coaching them up from right up here in the booth.
Morstead, the punter, out to kick it off. And here now come the Falcons. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. Line of scrimmage, again the 25, 2nd and 10.
Ohio! 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 Ohio!
He'll try again with the arm here on 2nd down. And he comes back with one complete. And now prior to this 3rd and 1, we're going to get a timeout here as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this first half. The Falcons on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1.
Here we go! What? None! What? None!
He'll look to throw. And he's taken down here by the Saints. Now the Saints will use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll stop it with 27 seconds remaining here in the 2nd quarter. Here's Matt Bosher now as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Taken in at the 22. A field position changer there. 49 yards on the punt. Couple that with a loss on the return. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Here again comes the captain of this offense leading his crew back out there now. He's played a pretty clean first half. A touchdown, no interceptions.
Frankly, that's what they expect out of him. They want to see the ball thrown and thrown well, and he's able to do that and put it in the end zone. They'd love to see more of that before this game finishes. But right now, he's got his team in a good spot.
A good spot, maybe looking for touchdown pass number 2 here in the 2nd quarter. 2nd and 9 now from the 21. So it's halftime here in New Orleans with the Saints out in front. As we send you on over to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman in our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks. A few teams starting to rise to the top as it's time to take you around the NFL here in Week 6. We'll begin with a bit of a rare matchup. Tampa Bay on the road in Cincinnati. And that's been a back-and-forth game, all tied in the 2nd quarter. From there, we'll make the trip down to Indianapolis to check on the Colts at home at Lucas Oil Stadium. And they were winners in their ball game as they beat the visiting Washington Redskins. 28-3, the final score. Lastly, we head to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Check on the Patriots. And they've got the lead in their ball game over the visiting Cleveland Browns. Devontae Parker, 2 touchdown catches on the afternoon.
We now proceed to the start of the 2nd half. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, a good one, as he's up a yard or 2 shy of the 30. A first update now from Cincinnati, and the Bucs are out to an early lead. Jameis Winston with 2 first-half touchdown passes.
Ohio! Ohio!
They'll try and start this drive in the air. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
How many times have we sat with coordinators, and especially the defensive guys, that talked about big plays, sacks, they often come in bunches. Well, it may not be a bunch here, but that is the third sack of the game for them.
And around the sack 3 or 4, I would think it starts to get in the quarterback's head a little bit.
Not just the quarterback, the offensive play caller, the offensive line, knocks people off balance and changes what they normally do.
Now a deep ball there on second down, but it'll wind up incomplete. It's been this way most of the afternoon, hasn't it? This secondary really put this receiving core on lockdown.
Listen, they've worked together like a basketball team that's playing excellent defense. Great communication, doesn't matter whether it's man or zone. And especially against deep balls, as we saw there, they're not giving up anything to them.
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. And he's going to be wrapped up and driven down. Sheldon Rankins in there to pick up his second sack now of the afternoon.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
The punter Bosher on now as he gets this one away. Now the attention turns to the Saints offense getting ready for their first possession of the second half. They have the lead here. Well, we talk a lot about pregame speeches. What are halftime speeches like?
For the most part, not nearly as emotional. They're a lot more clinical.
Looking for Thomas. He's got him. Touchdown, New Orleans. Michael Thomas, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Saints add on to their lead. Well, you know he can be explosive, and he's ultra-explosive there on the fly route.
And you know how many times we've talked to coaches, and we've had quoted back to us, well, you know something? When you execute really well, it doesn't matter if they know it's coming or not. Well, sometimes athleticism beats you as well. He just took off and went. And that's almost like one of your Turkey Bowl games, isn't it? Just go long,
Backyard.
man. I'll hit you. And it worked really well for them.
They'll set up to throw. Feeling the pressure here and taken down. A sack back at the 7.
Well, they tried to get 2 and ended up getting none because the quarterback had nowhere to go with the ball and ends up getting sacked.
Nowhere to go at all. Great job, though, defensively. They were ready. Morstead, the punter, out to kick it off. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll wind up getting an extra couple yards here for his trouble as he'll bring this one out to the 27. Atlanta now coming out on the field. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with him punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a first down. You know, despite the scoreline, I think they've got to like where they are here. They're on the road and just one big play away from getting right back in this game.
I'm going to follow right along with you because the spot they're in now is a credit to their defense. They've kept them in it by making the plays that they've made, and that just means you're one big score away from being right back there.
Now the question is, can this offense step up and make that play, because that's been an issue for them in this game. A big-time play there for the Falcons. 44 yards. And until that point, we haven't seen Julio Jones. That's hard to believe here this late in the game.
And no one more frustrated than Julio Jones because receivers feed off of catches. That's their fuel, and that's also their affirmation. And he hasn't been getting much of that in this game, and their team is losing, and he wants to have a better effect on the game.
Just the first connection, Ryan to Jones there. That's the number 2 receiver in the NFL in terms of yardage, and tell you what, a few more plays like that, he won't be number 2 for long.
But that's what often happens when you have competitors running around the field. These guys know where they stand in relationship to yardage, totals, numbers, the whole deal. And let's face it, all of them, they all want to be number 1.
Hey, fellas, we got 3. Let's go.
First and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game.
Flex round. Flex round.
Back to throw. And that's incomplete.
They may be snapping the ball near the goal line, but all you're thinking defensively, keep them out of the end zone. Force the incompletion, force them into going for 3, and not giving up 6.
Looking to throw. And he is into the end zone for a Falcon touchdown. DJ Chark, his 9th touchdown of the season. And the Falcons draw a bit closer. That's one of those long drives where not only do you score, but you really tire out the defense, too.
That's a great point, because now they've been on the field for a long time. Them going to the bench, trying to make adjustments, trying to figure things out, but they'll do so fatigued.
The point after is good, and that will shave one more off this lead. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now we'll see what Michael Thomas and the rest of the offense has in store here. Pretty good game for him so far. I guess he's still got time here to make this a great game, but so far he's been solid.
I like where you're going with that, because it has been pretty good. But there's always that hint that things can really escalate for him. And right now, they feel like they're somewhat keeping him in check, but he has found the end zone once. But, boy, he can explode at any moment.
Yeah, and when you hit that end zone once, you want to find it again, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Makes you hungrier.
You get greedy in a good way.
Here we go now. Blue landing.
Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. And he's got his big tight end over the middle, complete. And they work this well upfield across the 45. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the ball, as we just saw there.
And he'll fight his way forward to about the 48-yard line. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here. I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Well, I tell you, Brandon, this ball's intercepted, but it is 3rd down. So the silver lining is that since this is so far down the field and there wasn't a big run back associated with it, really this kind of works like a punt. It's not an altogether bad result.
The drive will start with a carry by Devontae Freeman. And he'll get him a little space here up to the 5-yard line. On to stop there defensively, Tyler Davison. It's the Falcons. They'll have the football, but trailing on the scoreboard as we get set to begin the 4th.
Ohio! Ohio! Here we go! Grand 38! Grand 38! Punch!
From deep in their own territory, they look to throw. And complete over the middle, Safarian Jenkins. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, just 1 for 5 to this point. They're looking at 3rd in the nose of the football. A handoff, Devontae Freeman. They get 6 on the pickup there as the drive will continue.
Each team has its own terminology. Some people call it jumbo, some call it monster, some call it king. But it doesn't really matter. They brought in the big lumber to pick up that 1st down.
Yeah, you think about goal line defense with the goal line offense that time getting it done. The play action fake. They'll look to throw. Sliding out of the pocket. Now he's going to let it go deep right. And this is caught. right along the sideline. What a job of keeping the toes in bounds there.
Illegal touching, offense.
So this will be accepted as it moves the offense backwards. Look to throw here. Going up top. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down.
Trying to erase that deficit all at once. One big shot. He took it. Unfortunately for him, incomplete.
The Falcons on third down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is 3rd and 10. They'll set up a throw. And he's taken down. Back at his own 7.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
Let's take it inside his own 40. 51 yards on the punt there. And the Saints will have a short field in front of them. They take over here, 1st and 10. Back out onto the field now comes the New Orleans offense. They're holding on right now to that slim advantage in a one-score game. And you hear a lot about 2-minute offense and 4-minute offense. Obviously, the 4-minute offense applies here. How do they run that effectively?
Yeah, really what the 4-minute offense is you're just trying to grind the clock. So you want consistent gains, steady gains. Doesn't have to be big plays, but it has to be plays that gets first downs and keeps the ball away from your opponent.
But certainly throwing the ball is in the mix here.
It certainly is. Just make sure that you're careful with it. And again, get those first downs, keep possession of the football.
He'll look to throw. And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked off right around the 43. And a great return here gets this one all the way down to the 26-yard line. He couldn't get the hook up there that time with Thomas. That's now his 2nd interception in as many weeks from his linebacker position.
And think about all the different techniques he has to employ in a passing situation. Is he spot dropping because it's zone? Is he picking up man-to-man? Is he having to run with a running back or a tight end? In any event, great eyes, head on a swivel, and excellent hands.
Yeah, versatility and showing those hands. They go play action here on 1st down. Looking for the end zone. And this would have been intercepted if he could have gotten the feet in. He didn't, so it's incomplete. Boy, that one really could have turned this thing upside down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for 3rd down.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
On 3rd down, Devontae Freeman. And he picks up the 1st down yardage as he takes this one down to the 15. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going.
Brandon, what were they thinking on defense there? They looked like they were playing for the pass. That was 3rd and short. Yeah, it was an easy pickup because they handed it to him. That was way too easy.
Just looked like absolute confusion defensively. Not sure why they were in that set.
Yeah, I'd say you ought to have a few men in the box there.
Time for a break. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this. So it's Falcon football as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over.
Come on, let's go!
This time he'll look to throw. Dancing to his left. And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
The sack cost him only a yard. It's 2nd and 11.
Flex round! Flex round!
He's back to throw. And it's caught. And he couldn't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. It's a really nice 15-yard pickup, and now it's 1st and goal.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the...
And he gets in. Touchdown, Atlanta. Devontae Freeman with his 2nd touchdown of the game and 5th on the year. And the Falcons have taken the lead here in the 4th.
Wow, I know it's a never-say-never situation, but to me, that looks like that's the one that's going to finish them off.
The score that puts them in front here late, but now you got to rally your kick team, don't you, and say the last thing we need is a big return.
And what happens is guys get overeager, get out of their lane because they're so excited they want to make the last tackle. You mess up, could come back at you a long way.
Here's Bosher to kick it away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Charles, this one not over, certainly, but you set the magic number earlier in this game at 20 points. Said that they would need to hold them right around that marker under it. And what are you seeing here?
Well, that number is still in play because we said, okay, 20 or under gives them a chance to win. Right on pace for being in that range. And guess what? They've got a shot.
10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. The Saints in the hurry up here. Clock continuing to roll. He'll look to throw. Goes underneath here to White. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. They give him 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs. Back to throw. Looking left side and completing it to Thomas. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
Holding offense.
Now that's one they hate. The ball's got to come all the way back.
So that's an explosive play, a really explosive play that gets wiped out, and they have to start over after the penalty.
Green 39! Green 39!
Back to throw. And, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked up by Deion Jones, the linebacker. And he's able to get it back here to the 43-yard line.
And that one, it's going to hurt big time. You're in the 2-minute drill trying to get your guys down the field, and it's looking like they're going to go up just short, as this is definitely not his best throw. And it'll wind up being intercepted.
Flex round! Flex round! Ohio! Ohio!
That one looks like he'll throw here. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on first down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on first down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up 2nd down.
So 2nd down, still 10 yards to go. Ball on the 43.
Ohio! Ohio! Let's go! What? None! What? None!
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. He's going to sling this deep downfield. And he can't hang on. That's definitely going to be one he wishes he had back. Incomplete in the end zone.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
On third down, he'll drop to throw. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really.
Here we go. What? None.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. Try to lay one up deep. And it's incomplete. They're still throwing to the very end, but now this game is over. Well, going into the final play of this game, they knew that they needed some type of a miracle there at the very end, but they couldn't get it done. However, we were treated to really a spectacular affair.
Even though they didn't finish it off, you're exactly right. They took us down to the last play. You're wondering, could it happen? Possibly, even though we both knew it was a long shot.